Let me try that. Okay, there we go. All right, so good evening, everyone. This is our just-in-time training covering booth selections in eBuddy and the process for that. Tomorrow, we will be releasing our booth information document. I've got the final touches that are going on it tonight. As soon as it is approved and released, it'll be sent out to our service unit chairs and will be available on GS Learn. So that should be up by tomorrow afternoon at the latest. But we're going to go over the information for that tonight. Let me get into my dashboard. Give me a moment here as I get my screen sharing. All right, so for everybody, can everybody see that okay? Yes, okay. All right, so from your troop dashboard, you're going to be selecting booth sites. Now we've got booth volunteers across council that are working on getting these uploaded over the next couple of days, but we do still have booths that are pending approval from the stores. Unfortunately, we can't speed that process up any further. So while this may not seem like a very full list compared to previous years, a lot of it has to do with COVID. So as we are getting our booth sites into the system, you guys will be able to see them. From here, you'll click on the site that you are interested in, and you'll click on there will be a list of the different stores and locations. From there, once you expand that list, you'll be able to see all the dates and times that are available. When you click on that time, then the available time slots are going to be there. These are going to be in 2-hour increments. There may be some that could be an hour and a half, depending on what the availability is of the store. So make sure you are paying attention to the time. Any notes that are going to be specific to that site will show up. Once you click on the spot that you are interested in, you'll see your troop number appear, and then you'll hit submit. Okay, and the time will be reserved. From here, if you need to unselect it, you would just select it again. Your name will disappear, and then you'll click submit. Once you've selected your time slots, you can also view your current time slots by clicking current signups, and this will give you a list of all of your booth locations that you have selected. Okay, and it'll include all of your notes, the times, the address, all of that information. Okay, let me back up. Let me undo that. Now, because of the current climate and because a lot of our booths are being delayed, for example, we are hearing that Walmart, it looks like we will be allowed to approach Walmarts to get those booths, but we will not be able to do that before January 25th. And those booths will not start until February 8th. So those are going to unfortunately be added to the system later than they normally would. So I'm going to switch to my screens real quick, and I'm going to show you guys what the schedule for this year is going to be. Sorry, working on a very small screen doesn't work. This is the document that is going to be uploaded into GS Learn as soon as the final steps have been completed. Okay, we'll go over some more of the information in here in just a moment. As far as the reservations go, you guys, in order to make it the fairest possible, we are going to have reservation slots for the upcoming couple of weeks. So beginning January 27th at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, each troop will be allowed to pick 4 booths for each day from the day 1 through day 3. So the 27th, 28th, and 29th, ending on the 30th at 5:59 p.m., you'll be able to pick 4 slots per day. So by the end of those 3 days, you'll be able to have a total of 12 slots over the course of the period that you'll be able to choose from, or that you'll be able to select. And only 2 of those booths can be at the same location. Beginning on day 4, going through day 7, this number will then increase to 6 booths per day. Day 8 through 13th, you'll be able to pick up to 8 booths per day. And then beginning day 9 until the end of the program, it will be unlimited selections. Again, this will be in your GS Learn, and will be sent out to our service unit chairs tomorrow. So you guys will have access to this document and the dates. They are cumulative. They are cumulative. So, and you won't lose them. So if you forget to sign on day one, and you sign on day two, then you will have 8 picks. So they are going to be cumulative and you won't be losing them like last year. The system will allow you to keep those slots even if you've not picked them. So that way, if we have booths that get added in later, you'll be able to still use some of your slots for those. Okay. I do apologize for how late this is starting, but I intentionally did not schedule the booth selection period because I wanted to see what our booths were going to be looking like and how many were going to be uploaded into the system. Because a lot of those approvals have been delayed and we are still getting them in, I wanted to make sure I had as many as we could get into the system as possible before you guys started making your picks. Okay. Now these booths, there's going to be both regular booths as well as drive-through booths. Okay. Now if I can get my page to scroll properly, here we go. All right, drive-through booths. We do want 2 girls and 2 adults for the safety of everybody involved at any drive-through booths. Any booths that are going to be designated drive-through booths will be noted in the booth reservation information. A lot of the booths that I have actually inputted, I've got booth locations at all 4 of our major offices, and I'm looking at a couple of additional locations for additional booths. Those are going to be set up as drive-through booths. Okay, this is a general template. Obviously, the exact layout is going to vary depending on where you're set up. It's going to typically be in the corner of a parking lot. It could even be possibly in a drive-through section of a bank during their closed hours. Again, it's going to depend on what our booth coordinators are able to secure as far as booth spots. If it is going to be in a parking lot, in the corner of a parking lot or open area, then we do want 2 vehicles, one on either side of your booth. You'll have a spot that you come in where the customer will then park. You'll come around, take their order, do the exchange, and then they drive off. The reason we want 2 vehicles on either side is so if somebody is not paying attention or whatever, you have a car buffer between you and the parking lot, and it's for your safety as well as our girls' safety. If you are able to do this, say in the drive-through, the bus pickup of a school area where they have the road that comes right up to the sidewalk, then we do say a minimum of 2 feet back from the sidewalk or from the curb. Now that's going to depend on the area. If you can go further back, we would prefer that you go further back so you have that buffer. But I also know some areas do not have very much room on that kind of spot. So keep in mind your locations as far as how your booth is set up. Okay. There will also be virtual booths. We are working on getting graphics, signs, all of that stuff up onto our website. I'm hoping it will be up soon, but booths do not start until February 1st. It should all be up there well before then. I just don't have an estimated date on when it'll all be available. Virtual booths, there's also a virtual booth guide. If it's not up in the additional references section, it will be by tomorrow. I'm going to double check that when I'm uploading this booth document. But LBB already has a virtual booth guide. It's the steps from point 1 to, I don't even know exactly how many steps, but it lays out exactly what you can do to host a virtual booth already planned out for you guys. So you'll have access to that document as well. Now, if you are going to be working at a standard booth, it is no more than 3 girls, and that's assuming that 2 of the girls are related. Otherwise, it would be 1 girl and their parent and another girl and their parent. So 2 and 2. This is so that we can keep our numbers low. We will have some booths that may be only to like our drive-through booths, we want 2 adults there. If you have an IRM, then we need to have 2 adults there for her safety, especially with vehicles and that sort of thing. You do need to be taking the temperature of every Girl Scout that attends that booth. So you guys need to have some kind of setup where they are taking their temperature and they are completing the GSDSW COVID, what's it called? Screening, the screening guide, and that is all up on our GS Learn in the additional references section. I double checked and made sure all that was up there as well. You do need to keep those at your booths. Make sure the troop leaders have those as well after the booth so that they can keep that as a tracking record. Okay. Did somebody have a question?
Yes, we have 2 questions that came in. So just to clarify, when we say 2 adults and 2 children or 2 girls,
No, but not the what.
Hold on.
when
Yep.
we say 2 girls and 2 adults at each booth, that's a maximum. IRMs that have 1 adult and 1 girl can also attend those booths together. Okay. Our second question, are the individual troops responsible for providing cones, etc., in any parking lots for drive-through booths?
We would recommend cones. Again, that's going to kind of depend on the parking lot structure. You may be able to do it with just some signs. Let me go back down here. If you have cones, even just a couple to at least designate where you are, or even the hazard, like get the orange tape that you can find it like during Halloween and stuff like that, like the caution tape, just so that you can kind of divide where you guys are and where the cars are is recommended. Okay, but it's going to kind of depend on what materials you have and what the parking lot looks like too. Some places already have some of this kind of almost designed where you can just kind of slide into a spot. It's just going to be very booth by booth. Okay. I apologize. I'm trying to find where I am. There needs to be hand sanitizer at all booths. Again, taking those temperatures, if anybody, girl or adult, registers 100 degrees or more, they must leave the booth immediately. They are not permitted to stay. And those pre-screened documents are so that we can do any tracking. If there is anybody at any time that is determined to have had COVID, we need to have that information so that we can follow the CDC's tracking methods to make sure the appropriate people are identified or notified. I'm sorry, not identified, notified.
And just, Andrea, just for clarification, if the girl or the parent is over 100 degrees, that means both have to leave, correct?
Correct. That is correct.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Andrea, can I ask a quick question about that? So I just want to make sure I understand. So the troop leader needs to have a thermometer on hand, because my understanding was that when they fill out the pre-screen form, the parent is, supposed to take the temperature ahead of time and document that when they drop them off. So I just want to make sure if that's something that troops are now needing to go out and purchase those little, contactless thermometers.
If the parents take the temperature beforehand, that is fine. Some troops may have that as part of their booth kits. But as long as that temperature is taken and documented, whatever works best for the troop regarding that. Okay. Face masks must be worn. They can wear a shield as well, but they do still need to have that mask on, and it must be covering the mouth and the nose. As always, we say no food or drink at the table. In the event we do have somebody that needs to eat something for medical reasons, they need to eat or drink that item at least 6 feet away from the table. When they return to the table, have that mask back on and use their hand sanitizer as well. Okay. The rest of the information on here is going to be the standard booth information, as far as making sure you notify the store when we have our booth set up and then when we leave. Making sure that you arrive no more than 5 minutes before your time slot. You do not interfere with the troop ahead of you. When your time is up, you must pass any remaining sales over to the next people. Please make the transitions smooth. If there's any issues with transitions, do not involve the store manager. That is where you will need to contact council or myself if there is a problem. Excuse me. Also, make sure that you are removing any trash from your booth. That includes cases. Do not fill up the store's trash cans. Take your case empty cartons with you and dispose of them properly elsewhere. Okay. The next item, actually, I'm going to talk to you guys very briefly about is actually two things. One, we're going to go over troop booth requests, and we're also going to talk briefly about Grubhub. We are partnering with Grubhub for this year's cookie program. If you are interested in working one of the Grubhub booths, you will need to email product@gsdsw.org with your name, Girl Scouts name, and troop number. Let me go back up and find my Grubhub stuff. Right there. And this is for juniors through ambassadors. So unfortunately, daisies and brownies are not able to work these booths. This is for juniors through ambassadors. There will be a separate training involved and a separate sign up. These signups will not be found in eBuddy because of the way the booths are going to be set up. The girls will get credit for any cookies sold during that period. The tracking will just be done at council level and then distributed to the girls. Okay, these are going to be in El Paso, Las Cruces, Odessa, Midland, and Roswell as of right now. We may add or remove locations as the season progresses, depending on the need and how well things go. They're going to be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for a limited number of hours beginning. So booths start February 1st. Was it the 4th or the 5th? Whatever that Friday is, will be the first set of booths. Okay, so if you or anyone is interested in participating, the parent will need to reach out to product to get the training dates, and there will be a separate Grubhub agreement form. Okay, the final part is troop booth requests. Every year we always have troops that have special relationships with their community, whether it's a church, it could be a business, a private owner, independent business owner, and that sort of thing. If a troop is interested in setting up a booth, they will actually put the information into the cookie, into eBuddy, but it must be a minimum of 24 hours before the booth is set up in order to allow us time to approve those booths. And I'm going to switch over in just a second and show you how that is done. Cleared that one. Okay, from your troop dashboard, under booth sites, you see this toggle here where it says council sales. When you click on my sales, this will be any of your troop booth locations. You'll click on add a location, and this is where you'll put in the business information. The business name, location, the contact information is required, and then the start and end date. Okay, then you'll click add. You'll receive an email email confirmation that you've added it. Once council has either approved it or denied it, you will then receive a follow-up email saying that the booth has been approved or denied. As a reminder, booths are only allowed in front of locations in which the girls are allowed to frequent. So vapories, dispensaries, tattoo parlors, bars, these are all off limits. Council also reserves the right to deny booths if we feel that there is a safety concern based on that location. If you have any questions on this, if you are curious as to a specific location, please reach out to product@gsdsw.org or info@gsdsw.org, and we can look into whether or not a booth will be approved. Are there any questions? No?
We do have one.
Yep.
Do we get approval from business before submitting that?
Yes, you have to have the approval from the business before putting the information into the system. Once it's into the system, then we assume that you have already spoken with that location. And this is, Sorry, go ahead.
Can you explain a little bit more what a Grubhub booth is?
So a Grubhub booth will be out of our council offices, and it will be the cookies going out of those locations are going to be filled from our cupboard. Grubhub customers will then go onto the Grubhub app during the specific times, select their order. Most of them will be allowed to choose between delivery or pickup. So the customer can actually go to that site to pick up during a specific period of time. Otherwise, it is a delivery agent or a delivery driver that will then come pick up the order and deliver it to the customer. So at the booth, the girls will receive that order, approve, accept the order, fill it, and then set it on the table for the Grubhub driver to come pick up, and then the driver will take it to the customer. Okay. And again, because these orders are going to be filled out of the cupboard in that specific location, but will be tracked by the girls at that booth. And then I will be in, either myself or Danny will be then entering those transfers into the system. So the girls will get that credit. Okay.
And we have a few questions.
Go ahead.
So somebody says who delivers it. I'm assuming that's for Grubhub. So Grubhub has their own drivers, and their drivers will be picking up the cookies, the product, and delivering it to the people that ordered it. Just like if you ordered dinner from Grubhub or DoorDash or Favor, any of those, it's similar. So they'll come pick it up and they'll deliver it.
Yeah, you will not be responsible for any of the delivery.
Right. Grubhub cookies are in addition to what girls order / their count. Yes. So the cookies will come from our cookie cupboards at our council locations, and that we will put those amounts of cookies that they sold into their eBuddy system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the girls will not be supplying their own cookies. The troops will not be supplying their own cookies. This is because it could potentially be multiple troops at one particular location. So this way the troops aren't having to try, they're not having to try and sort out whose cookies and that sort of thing. It'll come from the council cupboard, and then we will divide it out based on what was sold during that girl's time period.
Yes. So the credit does go to the particular girl. Yes.
Yes.
Do they have to have a booth form filled out for a troop booth, or does the booth coordinator need to do this?
Yes, I do want them to have booth agreement forms on file as well as putting it into the system. So you can reach out to product, and or if you know your booth coordinator in your area, they can also supply it to you. But you can reach out to product and have that, because it has all of the information that you need to be able to put into there. So reach out to us and we can get you that form as well.
At a Grubhub booth, is it still 2 girls, 2 adults?
Still working on that. We may start that as a 1-on-1. Because this is a brand new setup, I don't know how well they're going to do. So here in El Paso, I may have 2 slots available just because I think El Paso might be a little bit higher sales. The other locations, I think I'm going to have it start out as a 1-on-1. So 1 girl and 1 parent for each time slot, because the other councils in the area are just getting started. We're only just now starting to get numbers back, and it's really going to depend on the geography. So that is still going to be something that I'm going to be looking at very closely as we figure out what's needed.
And we had somebody that said, seems like there is no downside to trying it, question. So I don't think there's a downside to trying it. I think that if anything, it's going to build up sales and be better for everybody. I know when I'm in El Paso and I'm working at the office, the first thing I do is order Grubhub or one of those to bring me my lunch so that I don't waste my time on my lunch break as well. I'm sure everybody else does that. So I think that it's going to be a great partnership, and we are excited to see how it goes.
Yep. I do actually want to point out something. So you'll see some time slots in here that are going to be at the same time as Grubhub. There is actually going to be a separate booth that will be allowed at that location compared to where the Grubhub is going to be picked up at, because the Grubhub sales are going to be specifically for Grubhub. And in some of our spots, we have some fairly good traffic. So we'll be able to set up a drive-through booth for the random customers that come up, just like any normal business. So there will be 2 separate locations, like the Grubhub will be inside, and there will be a sign that says Grubhub pickup, and that's where the driver goes, picks up the order and leaves. And then there will be a table for the walk-ups, for the random sales and that kind of thing. And that's the one that will actually be in the cookie finder. So if somebody goes onto our website, types in the zip code, they will be able to find that booth and they'll be able to go to that one.
We have a few more questions. Who will be responsible for giving access to the cupboards for Grubhub booths?
I will be working with council staff and the booth cupboard coordinators in those areas to make sure the appropriate amount of cookies are set aside and the staff will have access. Here in El Paso, I'll be the one that the El Paso folks will be talking with, and then the other locations, I will identify who that person will be to help out.
Are customers paying tax, delivery, or what would be extra for the customer?
Because this is a nonprofit, we do not charge sales tax, so there will be no sales tax charged to that. I believe the delivery fee is waived in most cases. I do not remember the specifics on all of that. And a lot of that is all new to me. I've been focusing more on the logistics on our side versus the Grubhub side. I do know Grubhub will be giving us some advertisement, so they'll be featuring us at the top of their page and all that kind of stuff too, to promote it.
Perfect. That answered the very next question. And also, yes, so the Grubhub sales will be assigned to the girl by location and time of booth.
Yes.
We will have all that information from Grubhub. They actually keep a good database for us. So we'll be able to move those cookies to the
and there will be a tracking. This will be also covered in the training specifically for Grubhub. As I said, anybody who is interested in Grubhub will need to go through a whole separate training because there is some tech side of things that we'll be working on as well. But there is a tracking sheet that going to be very similar to what many of you use at your booths as far as troop booths go, where the girls will be needing to track their sales. And this will help to compare to the information that I received from Grubhub so that we can make sure each girl is given the appropriate amount. It's not going to be split between everybody working at that time. It's just going to be at that location at that time.
Awesome. Are girls putting their links word of mouth, or is it through council? So Grubhub is through council in general.
Actually, I think that she's talking about the DOC links.
Okay. Are the girls putting it out there on their links word of mouth, or is it through council?
So the girls' links are up to the girls on getting out there. The troop links are actually going to be available on the Cookie Finder app beginning February 1st, and that is both council and nationwide. So if a customer goes into, and actually, give me just a moment, let me move my screen, and I can actually show you what I'm talking about.
I have another quick question while you're finding that. Is
Yes.
there a minimum of cookies the customer has to order from Grubhub?
Nope, no minimum. But from what we are hearing from the couple councils that have already started, their numbers of cookies ordered have been higher than what the DOC are, like between 5 and 7 packages, but there is no minimum. So they can realistically order 1 package. So from our council site, as soon as I find it, I apologize. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. So find cookies. When you enter in your zip code, right now it's not going to show much because our council hasn't started the booth side or anything like that. So right now it's just going to let you know when the season begins. But after that, when you type in the zip code, the booths in that area are going to pop up, but also a troop link will pop up. The system will actually randomize which troop is showing to the customers, and customers can then go to that link for the troop and purchase cookies for direct ship or to be donated. Again, this is direct ship or donated cookies only. And so this will come into your eBuddy system on the troop side, and then you can distribute the cookies from there to your girls as like a normal troop booth or something along those lines.
We have some more questions.
Mm-hmm.
Does the girl interested in Grubhub have to sign up for it the way we sign up for booths?
You will, if you are interested in your girl participating in Grubhub, you need to email product@gsdsw.org. And the parent will have to go through the training, and there will be a separate sign up through a different location. I believe I'm going to be using Sign Up Genius for Grubhub booths. So they will not be in eBuddy.
So they do need to let their parents and their troops
Yeah.
know that if they want to do this, they need to contact product.
Yes. The parents need to be the one to reach out, because the parents are going to be the one going through the training. Because most of the parents, I'd say probably 50% or more of the parents may not have access to GS Learn. Those trainings are going to be live. The recordings will be on GS Learn for those who do have access, but I will have live trainings for Grubhub for those who do not have access to GS Learn at all.
Right. So here's the easiest way to do it, right? Email product@gsdsw.org, have the parent email product. They need to put in their Grubhub booth. And so that way we know that that's what their intentions are, is to sign up for the Grubhub training and the booths. We're going to need the parent's name, the girl's name, and their email.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Well, if they're using their email, we'll be able to pull
Right.
it from that email. But yes.
But it makes it easier if all that's in one location for us to grab and push over to another document. That's all we should need from them to get them started with Grubhub training.
And this includes IRMs. If you are an IRM and you want to participate in Grubhub, please include your IRM number. If you're brand new, if you haven't been assigned your IRM number, that's fine. Let us know. I know we have a lot of IRM emails that we are going to be working to get through. Just a reminder, we were actually closed today. So if you haven't heard back, that's because this is the only thing that we are doing today was this training. So we will be back at it tomorrow. But we will be getting through all of our IRM information over the next couple of days. So if you do not have an IRM number, or if you know somebody who does not have an IRM number but wants to participate, still send us that email and we will get you set up as well.
I'm working diligently on those, guys. Also, yes, you can start sharing this information with your troops, correct? With your parents.
Yes.
And so that way we can start getting the information out to them.
Absolutely.
And getting the training set up for them. We have one more question, Andrea. I'm sorry. If they're able to get a booth approved for a specific business they request, does it have to be a troop cookie, or can it be slots for mom and me type booth?
It can be slots for mom and me. It all does have to go into eBuddy. And the troop needs to be the one to enter it. But if it's for a specific parent in that troop, that's fine. It just still needs to be put into eBuddy. And the biggest reason, well, there's a couple of reasons. One, so that way we know where our Girl Scouts are set up, but also because it goes into the cookie finder. LBB and GSUSA work together. They pull that information regularly. So this way, when customers search for the zip code, they can find actual booths. I know we've had problems in the past with booths that weren't reserved popping up on Cookie Finder. That was with the other baker. LBBs, because we work with DOC, the digital order card, that system is actually a little bit better. And so it should only be pulling the booths that have been reserved, which it brings me to the other part. If you cannot work a booth, you are responsible for canceling in the system. Do not hold on to booths that you are not going to work. Because if we have a customer that shows up at a booth and there's nobody there, then we get a very upset phone call or email from the customers. And then that looks bad across. And then, they spread that to everybody else. Two, that is not fair to the rest of the Girl Scouts and troops in the council. If you cannot work a booth, you must release it in eBuddy so that the other girls and parents have a chance to secure that booth. As part of that good practice, if you are in a service unit or group chat, or if you are on the GSDSW volunteers page, it's also good form, especially if it's a really close window saying, hey, I'm releasing a booth at this location at this time, so that other people have a chance to get on and snag that booth. That's not required. It's just considered good form, and it's recommended. Okay.
I got it. I have another question that popped up. Would you enter multiple dates on that type of booth, or is each time slot an entry?
That is a very good question. Let's go over and take a look at it. Come on, if I can get it to cooperate. All right, so we go in, wait for it to load. Sorry, my internet's been a little wonky. I'm actually pleasantly surprised it hasn't kicked me off yet. So each date will need to be entered in. If you're going to break the time slots up at your troop level, you can just put in the entire block. You don't need to put in each time slot, but each date does need to be entered in. Okay, and this is the date here. Okay. Any other questions? These are good questions. It's a brand new system. This is why this training is a little bit longer than most. And a lot of this information, again, I apologize for it not being out sooner, but with COVID, I honestly did not know what we were going to be looking at until we got closer to booths.
No, those are fantastic questions. We don't have anything coming through the chat right now, Ms. Andrea.
Okay. That is all that I have to show you guys, unless you can think of anything else that you want me to go over for this training. I will hang on for a few more minutes in case anybody thinks of anything. But other than that, I thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I know we've still got some people that are having trouble getting into Digital Cookie. Bear with us. We have very limited things that we can do. All we can really do is re-trigger the emails. If you have reached out a couple of times and we've re-triggered those emails a couple of times, go to the Digital Cookie site and do the contact us, and go through that form and reach out to Digital Cookie themselves, because they may be able to do some things that we cannot. And please pass that on to your parents as well, because I know we've got a lot of people that aren't receiving emails. That is going to be more of a server issue. We do want to first make sure that those emails are correct. So make sure if you are reaching out saying you have a parent that hasn't received that email, make sure to give us the email that they're supposed to be getting it, or that they're wanting to use, so that we can confirm that email is correct. If it is correct, we've re-triggered that email a couple of times, then have them reach out to Digital Cookie and see if they can get access a different way, because that's really all that we can do at this point. Otherwise, we just ask that you guys be patient with us. We are getting through our emails, cases, all of that as quickly as we can. In the meantime, we thank you guys so much, and we look forward to this cookie season with you guys. All right.
Are we designating locations as premier like last year?
This system actually doesn't allow that. So no. At least not at this time, mainly because at this point, anything is going to be kind of considered premier, because we don't know what kind of booth locations we're going to have. So no, we're not going to have anything designated like that, but there will be restrictions on the number of slots per spot. So like you can only have 2 at a specific Walmart until we hit that next phase, and then you'll be allowed 3. And once we hit unlimited, then it's going to be first come, first serve. But in the beginning, you will be limited as to the number of slots per location. Okay.
Perfect.
Andrea, I have another question about drive-through booths. So if a business has a setup where, I'm just thinking of one in particular, that the sort of it's a curbside, like kind of like a sidewalk wraps around the building, but there's not really much traffic. Could the girls set up on that sidewalk, couple feet away from the, like you were describing, and then have that be the drive-through around the building?
Yeah, as long as it's not on a main road or anything like that. But yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Because I'm thinking of, like the bus drive-throughs, but I know there's other businesses that have something similar. So yes, absolutely. If you can set it up like that, and they can be on the curb and back a little ways, absolutely that'll work as well. Bonus points if you can get a spot that has the metal poles in it where they can set up behind that, and then you've got your barrier. Hey, that's even better. But yes, if you've got a spot where it's not going to impede traffic, it's not going to be impede in a business, absolutely that will work as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Like I said, I'll hang on for a few more minutes if anybody thinks of anything. Otherwise, we thank you guys so much for attending, and feel free to hop off. You guys have a great rest of your evening, and we will talk with you soon. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you guys so much for coming. Awesome questions. Oh, I did forget to mention I was going to get it up onto GS Learn. You too, Zoraida. Thank you. I was just thinking I forgot to mention I was going to get up onto GS Learn tonight, but.
Oh, you did say you were going to put other stuff on GS Learn tomorrow too, though. So
Yeah, but yeah, I will get this downloaded and record up onto the site tonight so that we have that ready to go.
okay, I am flexing tomorrow morning until all staff.
Okay. There will I'm hoping by the end of all staff that my document will be finalized and approved. I was waiting. It was mostly done. It was the reservation section that I didn't know a couple of things. Like I didn't know if it was going to be like last year where if you didn't use it, you lose it, which I hated, but I couldn't do anything about it. But this one,
Right.
if I set it up properly, it's cumulative. So
Dude, that's
we get
awesome.
4
That's,
booths.
that's
Yeah.
a game changer. That's a really big game changer, especially for those people that work.
Yeah, well, and that's also why I have it starting at 6 p.m. The days go from 6 to 5:59. So
Nice.
that way, you know, people are home instead of 6 a.m. I hated 6 a.m. That sucked.
Yeah.
But this way, and as we're getting booths uploaded, you know, if somebody's not able to use all of their slots because there's no booths available, then they'll have time to get them up.
Yeah. No, dude, you rock. You did a great job. There was a lot of great questions. It was awesome tonight. Fantastic.